Well, to shed more light on the President's word on the occasion of Labor Day, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Sadik, Professor of Political Sociology. Good afternoon, Dr. Sadik.
Happy Eid, happy Tahk, happy Ghariba to you and the whole audience.
Thank you so much, sir. Happy feast and happy Eid to you too and to your family, of course. Dr. Sadik, how did you read the word by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on the occasion of Labor's Day?
As you know, the whole world today is facing major economic crisis. And the fact that the President is not missing this opportunity to speak to not only to the workers but to the entire Egyptian nation is very important. Of course, what is happening is going to affect the whole world, including Egypt economically. So he wanted to reassure the Egyptians and the Egyptian workers that the state is behind you and that we are continuing our policy of social protection and working. And he reminded them of all the major giant national projects been able to achieve despite the corona pandemic and now even the Ukrainian crisis. He mentioned a lot of things about the economic reform that started in 2016 and saved Egypt from even worse conditions hadn't we started at that time. So that was very important. He mentioned the recent global development without naming the Ukrainian crisis, but we know for sure that it is affecting the Egyptian economy like other economies in the world. He also mentioned, he did not mention what will be the new policies to deal with this new crisis, but we know that we started something in April and we expect more policies to take place during May. Especially after the peace. And so we are waiting for what will be the government policy after that.
Yes. Dr. Sadik, also the President said that the Egyptian workers are going or are helping the state in order to build the new republic and build it in the future with a new spirit. What's your comment on this?
We started the new republic, and if anybody is watching Egyptian TV channels, they always put above the new republic. What is the new republic?
Yes.
Now, we have seen some of the elements of that. It emphasizes human development. We have seen that in September when he mentioned and declared and published, and it is available online, the National Strategy for Human Rights.
Yes.
Even when we started now also in the last Iftar event, the starting of National Dialogue. So he is starting to have a general dialogue to discuss a lot of issues. We still need to see what will be the elements, who will participate, what is the agenda. Are the decisions and the resolutions of this dialogue going to be binding, and what are the issues especially? So we are seeing that there is gradual reform in the country, gradual reform for the state. And we expect more things to be applied, not just documents to be presented, but application on the ground. For example, the status of women, violence against women, sectarian violence, if it ever occurs. It could not be accepted any kind of traditional tribal reconciliation. We need a state that applies the law on anybody regardless of whom they are.
Yes, Dr. Sadik, also the President today in his word on the occasion of Labor's Day, the President mentioned the initiative of the Decent Life, saying it has helped thousands of families. So how do you see the Decent Life as helping workers and helping the families of the workers in villages and other governorates?
Decent Life is a very important initiative, and in fact, President Sisi mentioned that many international organizations have praised this initiative. It targets the poorest of the poor in the country. especially in Upper Egypt and the rural areas. And so this is very important that we are reaching those people, because we don't want them to be pushed towards crime or malnutrition or begging and all this kind of social ills that we know of. So this is very important. But of course, what would really help them is giving them jobs, employment. They don't need handouts, they need employment. And so this would be the job of the government to look for more employment. And what we are doing is a lot of good stuff. For example, remember we had a lot of workers coming back from Libya and other places. And so those who are wondering why we are starting huge construction projects, without those construction projects, those hundreds of thousands of workers, what would we have done? They would have gone to crime, they would have gone to begging. We offered them those major jobs to absorb their energy. And so that was a very wise decision. So anybody who's criticizing that should have thought of the alternative. What would have happened in Egypt if those people do not find work in Egypt and they are unemployed, young and very muscled? What will happen?
Yes. So also, Dr. Sadik, the president spoke of the role of the Egyptian workers. How do you see the importance of the role of the Egyptian workers in building Egypt or building a new state, and the government or the states appreciating its workers?
Labor, you know, any economic process consists of three elements: labor, capital, and management. So the president talked about the labor. Labor is very important, because if people do not work, do not really give a lot of effort, sincere effort, the factory or any economic enterprise would not work. So this is very important that he is mentioning that. But we need a lot of labor laws and application of the labor laws. We need better management so that more production, more activity by Egyptian workers is achieved.
Yes. Also, Doctor, concerning the salaries and the wages of the workers, and concerning the irregular employment that the president have provided £500 monthly for needy people or who are not working during the coronavirus pandemic, of course. How do you see the importance of this?
Of course, that was very important. And because we started reforming the Egyptian economy in 2016, we had the money and resources to do that. Some countries could not do that, especially developing countries. So that was a very important thing. But now the important element now in this current crisis is to stabilize the Egyptian pound by increasing Egyptian export, to bring back more money, more foreign currency. We need also to look for more sources for tourism away from the traditional ones that are now facing crisis, like the from Russia, from Ukraine. And remember, President Sisi did a lot of effort to bring Russian tourists back to Egypt after the airline terrorist attack that happened over China. So we have to create on bigger markets, different markets. The tourism sector alone could have helped the Egyptian economy beyond any imagination. But the trouble is that a very volatile market that is affected by what is happening at the arena, terrorism, this war crisis in Europe. So all those things can affect. But we can look for new ways for tourism. For example, the desert areas, some of them can have special cities for the rich people from Japan, from Nordic countries, and that's a big business that can be used, especially those people get a big pension, all in foreign currency. This can be Egyptian weather is very moderate for the climate change.
Yes, yes. Also, Doctor, concerning that the President also mentioned that Egypt has given great importance during the coronavirus to the digital transformation in all fields.
As you know, a lot of Egyptians complain about the corruption among the government employees. Digitizing the government service would end this because you will end the middleman. If I want to renew my license, if I want to renew this, that, I don't have to go and see a government employee or anything. I go straight to the site and fill the application and pay through credit card. What Egypt should do really is more investment in the infrastructure of net. That the economy and the speed of the internet is very fast. You can be using a lot of these things online rather than coming to a bank to cash money or to withdraw or pay bills here and there. This is very important that we do that, and we accelerate this process because it will attract investors.
Yes.
And make things even easier for the Egyptian.
Yes, I thank you very much for your valuable information, Dr. Said Sadik, the professor of political sociology. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a short break and I'm going to be back with you.